right, here is part 2 of the Unit 1 pretest. If you didn't start with part 1, please go ahead and pause this and go to part 1 first. This is part 2, so we're going to start on page 2 of the Unit 1 pretest. So the first problem is to find 15 times 32, I multiply 10 times 32 and add it to 5 times 32. So we have to do exactly what it says, write and solve to represent each statement. So I multiply, and it says solve an equation, not an expression. So I multiply 10 times 32, is what it says first, and add it, so I'm going to take that and add it to 5 times 32. So here's my expression, but it says solve an equation. So I actually have to solve this. So I have 10 times 32, I know is 320, plus 5 times 32. Well, I don't know what 5 times 32 is, but I know 10 times 32, so if I cut this in half, because half of 10 is 5, I can figure it out that it's 160. And if you don't know that 160 is half of 320, you could take 100, 200, can't see what I'm doing over there, 300, and then you have 10 and 10 to make 20. Okay, so I know if I put 100 here, you can also divide it up like this. I know that if I have 100 over here and I have 100 over here, well, now I have 100, I can cut that in half and put 50 and 50 and 10 and 10. So then I can take all these amounts and add them up, and I would have 100 plus 50 plus 10 is 160. 150 and 10 is 160, so that I know if I cut it in half, I would have 160. Okay, that's just another way to show it if you can't just cut it in half on your own. So I have 320 plus 160, 160 and 320. And if I add those up, my answer is 480. Is my final answer. And there I go. So now to find 42 times 25, I double in half. So 42 times 25 equals, well, I can double 42, but I can't half 25 because it's an odd number. So I'm going to have to double this one and half this one. So sometimes that'll trick you, but it doesn't matter which side you double or which side you half, as long as you're able to do it. So I'm going to double the 25 because I can't cut it in half. So I'm going to do 25 times 2 times 42 divided by 2. 25 times 2, well, 25 and 25 is 50, times 42 divided by 2. That's a hard one. I'm going to cut it in half. If I cut it in half, again, you can draw out a picture to help you. But I know what it is. 42, half of 40 is 20, and half of 2 is 1, so I would have 21. So now I have 50 times 21. Okay, well, I have wasted all of my space, so I'm going to use a different piece of paper to show you. But 50 times 21, you could use any of your strategies to figure it out. You could double it and half it again. Actually, you couldn't, because if you doubled this, well, yeah, you could. You could double the 50 again. So now I have 50 times 21. I can double it again and half this. Oh, look. I can't, because now 21 is now an odd number. So now that won't work. That's as far as I can go with my doubling and halving. So I'm going to try something else. So I'm going to try a ratio table. So if I have 1 times 21, I get 21. If I have 10 times 21, I get 210. If I have 100 times 21, I get 2100. Now, if I cut 100 in half, I would get 50. So when I cut something in half, I have to divide it by 2. So if I divide 100 by 2, I would get 50. And 2100 divided by 2, or cut it in half, well, half of 2,000 is 1,000, and half of 100 is 50. So I have 1,000 plus 50, I would get 1,050. So my answer is 1,050. Okay, it's my final answer. Now looking at number 7, here I have a diagram, and I have to know how many 1 by 1 by 1 cubes are in the rectangular prism shown below. Write and solve equations to show. So I know that it says how many are in there. So they want the volume is what they're looking for. And I know volume equals length times width times height. And in order to find that, first I'm going to start with my base. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have 1, 2, 3. So I know my first layer is a 4 by 3. So 4 by 3, and then how much high? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, times 7. So 4 times 3 is 12, times 7 would be my answer. So my equation, I would just need to take it down here. 4 times 3 times 7 equals, and then I have to solve it. Well, I have 12 times 7. Well, I'm going to break this apart. 10 times 7 plus, how do I get to 12? 2 more, 2 times 7. Because my 10 and my 2 equal 12. So 10 times 7 is 70, and 2 times 7 is 14, so my answer would be 84. 84, am I done? No, I have to label it. 84 cubes is how much would go in there. Next question. Another equation for the number of cubes. Okay, well I have a 6 by 2 at my base, and my height over here is 5. So I know 6 times 2 is 12 times 5. Okay, again, you can break it up, or you could double and half it, your choice. I'm going to break it up. 10 times 5 plus 2 times 5, because I'm breaking up my 12 here for 10 and 2. And I get 50 plus 10, which equals 60. So I'm going to write my equation. 6 times 2 times 5 equals 60 cubes. Okay. All right, the next one is a little bit tricky. The very last problem. Brad counted the number of balls in one layer of a box and found out there were 24. 24 in one layer. Okay, so I wrote a little note there. 24 in one layer. The box has 9 layers. How many balls can the box hold? So I know that in one layer here I have 24. Okay, so I don't know what these dimensions are, my length and my width, but I know that 24 can hold. And if I have 9 layers high, okay, 9 layers in my height, I have to multiply 24 times 9. They've already done the base for me. The base was already 24. So 24 was in my base times 9 layers high. So I have to figure out 24 times 9. You could break it apart. You could use a ratio table. There's several different ways. I'm going to break this apart. 10 times 9 plus 10 times 9 plus 4 times 9. And some of you are saying, how did Mrs. Hanley get that? But 10 plus 10 is 20, and 4 more is 24. So I have 24 times 9. 10 times 9 is 90, plus 90 again, plus 36. So now I can add them up. 90, 90, and 36. I know 90 and 90 make 180. And then I just have to add 36 more. So I have 216, but I'm not done. How many balls can the box hold? I have to label it. 216 balls is my final answer. Okay, and then on the very last page, I have 3 division problems. And I have to use numbers, words, or labeled sketches to solve them. And handle the remainder, if there is one, in the way that best fits the situation. Write an equation to show each problem and answer. 4 friends make 57 cookies and share them equally. How many cookies did each friend get? So I have 57 is my equation divided by 4 equals something, right? I have to solve it. So I like the ratio table. That's my favorite. So I'm going to do 1 would be 4. And if I have 10, it would give me 40. I'm trying to get to 57 cookies. Okay, so 1 times 4 is 4. 10 times 4 is 40. I need to get to 57. So if I do 4 more, 11 would give me 44. That's not going to work. If I do another 4, 1 plus 11, if I add these together, that gives me 12. So then I have to add these, 4 and 44, it gives me 48. I'm getting closer, but I'm not quite there. I'm going to give myself a little more room. Well, I'm going to do half of 10. I'm going to jump to 15. I'm going to divide the 10 in half. Half of 10 is, whoops, not 15. Half of 10 is 5, and half of 40 is 20. Okay, so if I add 20 and 40 together, I would get 60, and 10 and 5 together, I would get 15. Well, now that's too many. So I'm going to have to take 1 off. So 15 minus 1 would be 14, and 60 minus 4 would be 56. So I know that I could give each of my 4 friends 14 cookies, and it would total 56. So 56 cookies. So each friend would get 14. Okay? But I have 1 cookie left. 1 left. What am I going to do with this 1 cookie that's left? Well, I'm not just going to eat it and be a sneaky friend, but I can take that cookie and I can cut it so that I'm totally fair. So if I have this cookie and I cut it in half, well, now only 2 friends can share it. But if I cut it again, now 1, 2, 3, 4 friends can share it. So each person would get 14 cookies and 1/4 cookie. Okay, so it would be 14 and 1/4. Is what each of the 4 friends would get. Okay, looking down here at the next one, there are 57 kids in the after-school club. Tomorrow they are going to the park. If each car can carry 14 kids, how many cars will they need to get to the park? Oh, same problem, 57 and 4 kids. Problem is asking how many cars will they need? So again, I have 57 divided by 4 equals what, right? Well, we already have the answer up here, same as above, only we knew that 56 plus 1 left over. Can I leave 1 student and not take them to the park? Can I just leave one behind? No. Can I cut them into fourths? No, definitely can't do that. So I have one left over. So my 14 that I got up here, I'm going to need to add 14 cars plus 1 car, because I'm going to need one more car to get this one leftover person. So I would need 15 cars to be fair. So 57 divided by 4, I would need 15 cars. Okay, last one, Andrew paid $57 for 4 supersized pizzas. Same numbers, 57 and 4. So again, my equation is 57 divided by 4 equals something. How much did each pizza cost? Now I'm talking about money. Whoops, I wasn't $4 a pizza. It was $57 for supersized pizzas. So now I have $57, and I know that the answer, we know from our ratio table at the top, 14, if this was dollars, sorry, that's not dollars, this is dollars. Okay, we know that each pizza cost at least 14. Those are dollars. Okay, so if we spend $56, each pizza is going to cost 14, plus we still have that one left over, just like we had 1 car, we had 1 cookie, so now we're going to have $1. But we have to divide the $1 by the 4 also. We can't just leave that remainder $1. We have left is $1. So how do we divide the $1 into 4? Well, if I take $1, what goes into $1 4 times? If I cash it in and get some change, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters, which are 25 cents each. So it would be $14 plus 25 cents, which equals $14.25 per pizza. Okay, and that's it for our story problems and the second half of the Unit 1 pretest. If you have any further questions, talk to myself or Mrs. Vanderkamp.